Right, so hi Phoebe, thank you for jumping on with
Hi.
us today. It's really nice to meet you. So I just want to sort of obviously get to know a little bit about you and your style, but what's really interesting about yourself is obviously that you're getting a visa from over in Holland to come and sort of approach your music career from Liverpool. So my boyfriend actually lived in Holland for a time for work, so I know a little
Oh,
bit about certain different areas and things like that. So I just
mhm.
personally wanted to know whereabouts in Holland is it that you live?
Well, I used to live in Amsterdam, but now I live all the way in the south, really close to Germany, a bit by the countryside, where there's
Okay.
not much to do.
Because he was just outside of Amsterdam and then further down as well. So I
Oh,
do know
yes.
bits and pieces about it. So
hmm
why Liverpool then? What was because it's quite a big move from Holland down to little old Liverpool. So what was your reasons behind picking there as
Yeah.
where you wanted to sort of reside and start your career essentially?
Yeah. Well, at first, I just really wanted to go to England. For
Hmm.
some reason, when I was 16, I kind of started to kind of be very, it just seemed very appealing to me, England. And but mostly London, even though I
Okay.
didn't even know much about London anyway. But
I
I
suppose
think
with it
that's
being
just,
the capital, it's where a lot of people that are
yeah,
not from the
mhm,
UK sort of are more drawn to, I guess.
yes. And because I found these schools, ICMP and BIM, I found,
Okay.
and I was like, I want to study music at those schools, and so I auditioned and I got accepted. But unfortunately, it was just way too expensive. It
Right.
was like £10,000 a year,
Oof.
and that to euros is like 16,000 euros a year, which I
Yeah.
obviously can't afford. So I just studied in the Netherlands music, and then I met a guy from England
Oh, okay.
4 years ago, and we got into a relationship. But he was from the north, 'cause he was from well, Southport, but
Okay. So
like
quite close to Liverpool
in the
then.
area. Yes, and so that's actually when I started to be exposed to the northern culture of England,
Hmm.
and I actually really fell in love with it. So
And
it was, yeah.
the northern culture is so much different to the southern culture as well. So,
Yes.
if you have sort of fell in love with that northern culture, then maybe it's one of them things where everything
Mhm.
happens for a reason, I guess.
Yes, definitely. Because I didn't even know that there were like more accents. I didn't even know what the northern accent was. I just didn't know anything.
Mm,
But then I basically was living there just half of the time
yeah.
in north of England. So I know so much about the culture now, but almost everything there is to know. And I've just been to Liverpool so often, and it kind of just became my home.
Yeah.
And I just was like, it was like this whole world opened up to me. I felt so much like this is really the place where I want to be.
Yeah.
And it was so different from where I'm from as well. And it just kind of clicked with everything that I kind of wanted, but I didn't really know where I was. So yeah, that's kind of how I decided to why I want to go to that part of England.
Of course.
Yes.
And then for anyone that might sort of be interested in doing something similar to you in terms of, getting that visa and sort of going through that process, tell us a little bit about that and how that's been for you.
It's been very, very
Stressful,
difficult.
I can imagine.
Yeah, yeah. Because I kind of was just able to live in England because my boyfriend lived there, so I could just come there all the time.
Yeah.
But eventually, that kind of we broke up and everything. So then I was like, okay, I really have to find a way to still be able to go there now. Um, because I really thought we were like gonna get married and everything, so I thought
Oh
like I can
no.
maybe get like a visa through marriage, like
Yeah.
in the future. But I shouldn't have been relying on that anyway. But then I was like, okay, what are other ways to get a visa? Not that I was with him for that reason, no.
I
But
I hear what you're saying, don't worry, I didn't take it that way.
yeah, but I was just looking into visas, and I was like, I just need to find a way to be able to go there despite everything now.
So what type of visa
Um,
are you coming here on now then? And is how far along the process are you?
yeah, so it's the global talent visa I found that seems most suitable for me.
Okay.
because that was one of the ones that lead can lead to permanent residence.
Okay,
Yeah, so that's why I definitely wanted that one, and obviously because it's a talent visa, which is for creative people like me.
exactly.
Yeah, so
So
that
it's a
seemed like
nice,
the
easy link then, isn't it?
yeah. But it just blew my mind how incredibly difficult it is to get one. And I
Mm.
just kind of realized that to me, it really feels like the UK government were just like, how can we make this as hard as possible so it just no one will actually apply?
Oh wow. I
That's
mean, 'cause I
honestly
know
how it feels
nothing about
like.
that
It's
process, and
really bad.
I can
Cause,
imagine.
yeah, because when I was with him, I just never even really thought of visas because I was like, oh, that'll be so easy.
Mm.
It'll just be so easy to get a visa. It won't be hard. I'm sure it won't be hard. But then when we broke up, that kind of prompted me to really look into it, and
Hmm.
that's when I saw how difficult it was. And I saw that even if you would like to like marry someone, even then it's impossible.
Oh wow.
So I would, yeah,
So how far in the process are you then?
um, yeah. So it's been taking it's been quite a long time that I've been working on it because there were quite a lot of things I had to do to have a sufficient application,
Hmm.
which is one of these interviews. This interview is also a part of that as well, a very
Oh,
important
okay.
one. Yeah, so I'd have to release a song, which I have released now.
Yeah.
Um, I have to like perform in England,
Hmm.
which I have done, but mostly open mics. So
Yeah.
I also have now a gig, like really a gig in England. I do have a lot of performance material from in the Netherlands, so that is good.
Yeah.
I need like little article things that people write things mentioned in
We can
articles.
jump on that for you.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, so that's really good. That's why I'm really happy with that I found you all. um, and what else? Yeah, reference letters, which I do have. So it's actually just a matter of yeah, this interview and just some more articles and a few little gigs, and then I'll be ready to apply.
Amazing. I mean, it
Yeah,
sounds like you're definitely putting the work in and you've definitely got like, that real love of the country, which,
yeah,
hopefully that should make things a little bit easier for, the people reviewing your application just to see how much you really want it, essentially, which is
hmm,
great. So
yeah.
moving on to from sort of your visa and a little bit more, obviously what we're all here for, which is your music itself. So but still sort of keeping in mind, the two cultures that you sort of bring with having performed within the UK and Liverpool, but also Holland as well. So, how would you say that your life in Holland has sort of shaped your journey towards coming to Liverpool and performing there has shaped your sound?
Um, well, before I came to started coming to England, I was mostly into because I wasn't really raised with the kind of music I listen to now anyway, so I
Hmm.
just had to discover it by myself. And what I've realized, especially having been to England so much, and especially the north of England, is that I feel like classic rock is a lot more popular in Holland, like Led
Okay.
Zeppelin,
Yeah.
Queen, also like the Rolling Stones, kind of that real classic rock, Guns N' Roses, and
Hmm.
that kind of things. And I realized that in the north of England, it's mostly also when you like just see live music, it's mostly um like Britpop as well,
Yeah.
Smiths, Oasis. That's just what you hear on the streets, Stone Roses and everything. So I
Hmm.
kind of realized that's like a real different thing, and that's also why that's kind of more become my taste ever since
Okay.
I've been coming to England.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people from England that would definitely say that like the likes of you, Led Zeppelin and that are still really popular, but I agree
yeah.
with you in terms of, the north of England. I mean, I've seen all over your Instagram page, your real affinity with the Beatles,
Oh
and
yeah,
things like that, which obviously is a massive, massive sort of Liverpool export, if you like. So
yeah.
you can really see where those sort of little influences have sort of come into play. But obviously, the journey that you're sort of going on, at the moment, you're sort of very caught between two worlds. Does that factor into your creativity at all, would you say?
Um, yeah, well, I've always realized that I find it easier to write when I'm at home in the Netherlands for some reason,
Okay.
just in my room that I've always had. I can also write songs in England, but they're always like the really good songs I usually wrote were in the Netherlands for some reason.
Okay.
So I hope I hope when I move to England I can still write it there as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably just because, like I said, being caught in between two worlds, you're not fully here yet. So, you're very comfortable there. You've got that home base. So that would
Hmm.
sort of obviously have an effect on your creativity. But um, sort of going off the back of that, what does home mean to you?
Yeah, that's I think for me England has always felt more like home to me,
Hmm.
like just with who I am and everything. Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
you
I feel like
suit the like
yeah,
British
yeah.
aesthetic,
Thanks.
if you like.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I feel definitely feel most at home in England. But I feel like it's kind of been hard for me since the breakup because I realized that when I broke up with him, um, I kind of felt like I had kind of made my home like when I was with him a bit,
I get
and
that
like that whole
completely
thing, also England, but also like
with
in
him.
his house and everything because I just been there for like 4 years, so it's kind obviously became my home. But now that's all gone. So I'm also like going to go from place to place in England now. I'm gonna do
Hmm.
house sitting, so I'll just be in all kinds of different
Oh,
houses
wow.
all the time. So I won't even have like a proper place where I'll be staying. So I kind of that kind of made me just look within a bit more and realize that yeah, when I read that question, yeah, what is my home exactly now? I
Hmm.
don't really know.
Yeah.
I suppose I have to try to find it just within myself and maybe sometimes just accept that I don't really have a place yet, but maybe it's nice to kind of have home being like multiple places just
Yeah.
wherever I go and that it's like within me.
And I suppose as well, if you are sort of like jumping about from different home bases, you can kind of figure out sort of what you want that to look like as well. Like the more you
Yeah.
experience, the more you'll learn what you want rather than it being tied to someone else or tied to
Yeah.
another country. Like you can sort of discover your own roots if you like. Sort of,
Yes,
I really
exactly.
liked what you said before in terms of like with your music style and like the music that you listen to, that you've sort of had to go from scratch again. And I suppose that's exactly what you're doing with this relocation. So I mean, I think it's very
Hmm.
brave. So
Yeah. Yeah. I would, yeah, it's a kind of a, it feels like I'm kind of just jumping in the deep. I don't really know what's going to
a
happen.
hundred
I
percent,
just have to
but
do it.
very, very, very brave of you to do so, I
Yeah.
think.
It feels very fun to me, actually. I'm just really excited to do it.
Yeah.
I don't feel very scared.
Well, I think that's how you know when something's right. If you're feeling too I mean, of course, there's going to be a level of that, but if you're feeling too anxious, then maybe it's a sign you're not on the right path. So the fact
Mhm.
that you're very geared up and excited, hopefully, I mean, I've got
Yeah.
everything crossed for you, so I'm hoping that means you're sort of more on the right path.
Yeah.
Um, we've spoken a little bit in terms of like influences and music influences. But obviously a lot of your songs have quite like a folksy sort of twist to them, I would say. Is there
Yeah.
any sort of anyone that's really sort of influenced that style or anything like that that you'd like to share?
Yeah. Well, obviously the Beatles,
Mm,
but all music nowadays is inspired by the Beatles,
yeah,
when you go back. But I think mostly in just the music I write, most directly, the Kinks, Bob
love
Dylan,
them.
Leonard Cohen. Yeah. And especially the Kinks,
Mm,
probably
okay.
mostly. And
Because
Oasis a lot as well.
which they are absolutely great, and I mean every sort of band that you've listed there is a real sort of UK powerhouse. So but your latest song, Memories, I mean, I was going to bring this off to you off camera, but whilst we're here, we might as well. Um, which your latest single Memories, I think, and I don't know if this is a band you ever heard of, it is a little bit reminiscent of a band called Wolf Alice. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I have.
They're
Yeah,
amazing. So,
I haven't listened to them, but I'm just glad you're not saying something else that everyone says.
was listening to it, but don't get me wrong, we've been following you on Instagram for a
Hmm.
while, but before we sat down and did this interview, I just wanted to give it a bit more of a deep dive. And I was listening to it, and when you sat there and you're like, oh my God, what does this remind me of? And I
Hmm.
couldn't remember, so I would give them a listen because they're really, really good.
Yes, definitely.
And speaking of your latest single, obviously in terms of it, I felt sort of it had sort of quite themes of sort of like longingness in there. Would you say that that is linked to sort of you wanting to move, or was that sort of what was that song, the inspiration before about that song, I guess, is my question.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because I wrote that song like about 4 years ago.
Oh wow.
I wrote the chorus and the bridge,
Hmm.
and now in October I wrote the verses for it.
Hmm.
And I never really, I always postponed finishing it, but now I suddenly thought that was the right time to finish it, and it's quite interesting because I feel like I didn't really know exactly what I was writing about back then because I hadn't
Okay.
really experienced anything like that to a bigger extent. So it's
Hmm.
got quite interesting because now I suddenly have finished the song, and when I listen to it now, I just actually know what it's like because of in those 4 years I've really learned exactly what it was that I was writing about in the first
Yeah.
place.
And I mean,
Yeah.
that's again a lot of this that we've sort of been talking about. It just seems that like everything is sort of happening in its correct time for you. Like clearly there was a reason that you couldn't finish that to begin with, and then having all of those years of growth and experiences
Hmm.
has allowed you
Yeah.
to do that. And it's such a beautiful song.
Oh, thank
So
you.
I really loved it. Um, and so obviously in terms of your writing style and sort of your process, so obviously you mentioned that that one has sort of took on a bit of a life of its own in terms of you started it a while ago and then come back to it. Do you stick to any sort of specific process when you're writing a song? Like how does that inspiration come about for you?
You mean how I come about writing a song?
Yeah, so do you start off with sort of the music? Is it a particular sort of where do you pull inspiration from? Do you start with lyrics? Do you start with music? Just what's your process?
Yeah. Yeah, I usually just improvise. I
Fair.
just take the guitar and then I just start playing it, and then I just go as I am going, and then I just make sure I always record everything so I can like listen back what I'm doing. But it almost always just comes from improvisation that way. And
Okay.
occasionally I just get a melody, or very occasionally I get it in a dream, and then it's
Wow.
like my subconsciousness is just like giving me this song, and I'm like, I haven't done anything, but I can just kind of steal this now.
Well, you from another reality might have passed you that. But
Maybe.
but that's really interesting that it's sort of quite spur of the moment for you in terms of like your creativity. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. And then I suppose that way it makes everything that you sort of create quite raw, which I think
Hmm?
it makes everything that you create
Oh
feel quite
yes.
raw, which I
Yeah,
suppose
definitely.
makes sense in terms of how it gets to that point in being
Yeah.
created.
Yeah.
So looking at obviously like your Spotify and things like that, obviously you've done various sort of collaborations. Are they with Dutch artists?
Oh yeah, well, those are from very long ago.
I
I
know, I
didn't really have
noticed.
anything to, they didn't really have much to do with what I do now, but
Mm.
they're still there, so
Fair enough.
yeah.
And obviously you mentioned that you're coming back to Liverpool and you've got some gigs lined up.
Mhm. Yeah.
So where did you first perform when you first did like open mics and things like that in Liverpool, just for anyone that's interested
Mhm.
in getting into the Liverpool music scene?
Yeah. I my first open mic was at Jacaranda.
Love it there.
Yeah.
Love it
I think
there.
the only ones I have done were at Jacaranda. I don't think I've done it anywhere else. But I once just played on the street in Liverpool one.
It's how Ed
Yeah.
Sheeran started out. Do you know what I mean? So, you've got to start somewhere.
It was
But
more a kind of out of comfort zone exercise.
well,
So
I
yeah,
mean, I suppose as an artist, you have got to push yourself at the end of the day, and
yeah,
it's clearly working. But then you've got a gig at the beginning of March. Is that right?
yes, yeah,
Perfect. And so, are more details going to be released about that soon?
yeah. Because they only asked me like yesterday,
I thought you said
but
that, and
yeah.
I was like, I'll throw it in case she knows anything more, and we can give a little
Hmm.
exclusive. But we'll go with that.
Yeah, they were going to send me an email, but they haven't sent it yet. But they will soon.
I suppose it's only been a day. You can't, we can't rush them too much. And then you said that you've got another single coming soon. Can you give us a little bit about sort of the background of the single a little bit in terms of is it similar to your last single? Is it a little bit different?
Mhm.
What can we
Yeah.
expect from the next single?
Yeah. So actually, I'm a bit torn between two songs that I'd like to
Okay,
release, so I'm not actually sure about which one I'm gonna do yet. But it might be one that I've worked on with a producer friend of mine, and it's quite dark and actually
okay,
not. It actually has like synths. It's very, yeah, dark.
okay.
Um, yeah, and very menacing as well.
And was
That's
there a
probably gonna
reason
be the
for
first
for
one.
that sort of shift in
Mhm.
terms was there a reason in terms of like your need for that shift with this single?
Um, Not really. I made the song and I just showed it to him, and because he's very much with synths and things, and he's a bit
Hmm.
more modern in his producing. And then we started to kind of experiment a bit with the synthesizers, and that's actually how it kind of got this more kind of post-punk feel rather than folk. Yeah.
Okay. So then I suppose that's kind of bringing in, like you said before, a little bit of in terms of when in the Netherlands all you tend to hear is sort of like your punk rock and things like that. I suppose that's
Mhm.
putting a little bit of a twist on that, if you like.
Yeah, but I like it. So
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it. So much for meeting with us. And we're really looking forward to your single. And hopefully, once we've got a little bit more information, we can get out to your gig as well, which we're really looking forward to.
that would be really nice. Yeah.
Great. Well, as I say, lovely to meet you, and we
You
will
too.
chat to you very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well.
Bye.
Bye.